Laughridge with Terry Reid Automotive Group, and I'm sitting here with Trey, Scottlin, and Todd, and we're talking about Black Bartow and their organization, and want to leave it to Trey to talk about what they want to highlight about the organization.
Black Bartow is an organization started by the three of us, three friends that came together after doing so many community projects together and seeing a need that needed to be addressed. And for one, that was this invisible line in downtown Cartersville. For years, pretty much our whole lifetime, there's been this line that no one was willing to cross for various reasons. For one, black neighborhoods in Cartersville was started because of a lot of racism and uncomfortableness that was in the downtown area. Years and years ago, what was it, 1892-ish, somewhere around that time, there were a lot of black businesses in downtown Cartersville. There were a lot of successful black people in downtown Cartersville. But because of lynching and discrimination and racism and things of that nature, you had a group of black people who left. And half of them left the state of Georgia completely. The other half started buying up land around Bartow County and establishing their own neighborhoods, their own business districts. And then throughout the years, you had small events that happened that that was a reminder as to why we don't go downtown. For example, there was a restaurant that had a picture of a lynching in downtown Cartersville at one time. And so it's 2021, and we're saying that it's time to let go of all of those things and move forward and make it known that black people in Cartersville and Bartow County, we don't belong to certain pockets, that we should feel comfortable to go anywhere. And not only should we feel comfortable going anywhere, but you and anyone else that looks like you and things like you should feel comfortable to go anywhere else as well. You should feel welcome in Summerhill. We should feel welcome in White, Georgia. And so that's a little bit about Black Bartow and why we got started.
I think we just wanted to bring about uncomfortable conversations, but again, also bring people together through those uncomfortable conversations. Like, okay, we may have to talk about the lynching, and the photos and stuff in downtown Cartersville, but we're also going to bring the community together throughout that. No matter if you're a black business, white business, whatever the case may be, we want to bring people together, and that's what we've been able to do through our events downtown Cartersville.
Also, I think it's important for us to highlight black-owned businesses, small businesses who maybe aspire to be in one of those downtown places one day, so they can start developing those relationships. But yeah, I agree with everything that y'all said so far.
So what do you think is your favorite event that highlights the message you're trying to convey of all the events that you guys put on?
I would say the Praise in the Park event was awesome to me and near and dear to my heart because, Sundays are one of the most segregated days to this day of the week. So for different communities and churches to be able to come together and serve one God, I thought that was beautiful. And it doesn't have to just be from a religion standpoint, but it was just everybody coming together for one cause, which I feel like is very important. And our similarities are much more greater and important than our differences. And we have to celebrate each other's differences, but also respect them.
Praise in the Park was great for two reasons for me. For one, that was our first event that we had a mixed crowd at. Right. Up until that point, every event that we had, no matter how hard we tried to get it to be a diverse crowd, it would be nothing but black people. That Praise in the Park was the first time where we truly had segments from so many different populations represented. And it was also an important event for me because, two, it was right after the election. And we all know how divided and crazy of a time that was for the election. And so we intentionally put it out there that no matter who wins, no matter how you feel about this is an opportunity for us to come together and celebrate. We're not celebrating a certain victory. We're not celebrating a certain loss. We're celebrating the fact that we can be here together in our differences and love each other and be around each other.
And the importance of, if you choose to serve God, it's much bigger than, any politics or any differences or anything like that. So it was definitely just monumental. Some of us had just came from protesting and just seeing different stuff on the news and people being killed. So to be able to sit downtown Cartersville where people have been lynched that look like me, but also have somebody that look like you right beside me, praising God and, feeling just as emotional as I am, and it might not even affect him as much. It was powerful for me, and it was important to show like our allies are just as important. So we highlight businesses in the community, not just Black, but those that are in support of the Black community and open-minded to where they want to see a better Bartow County.
That Sunday, we just needed a chance to breathe. It had been so much going on that I know me, Trey, Scottlin, we was hoping the event went well, but we wanted to make sure that people showed up so they could breathe, relax, praise God, and have this safe space where you can mix and mingle with my brother of each and every culture, which we were lucky enough to have. So yeah, definitely our best event so far.
That event also made us a little nervous. That we stepped out of our comfort zone. We do a lot of events aimed at younger people, a lot of hip hop music, and that was looking for some people that want to praise the Lord, and it was going to be on a Sunday, and we were desperately trying to make it a diverse crowd. So it was like, how is this going to go? Like, is no one going to show up because this is something new? But we had an amazing turnout, and it was just a good feeling.
I think something else that's important to highlight around that time, like a lot of people have been losing people to COVID. Like a lot of people had people that had passed away for COVID or were currently fighting for their life. So for us to be able to come together and pray as a community and lift each other up, a lot of people needed it.
Sure. That was my first church service technically in like a long time.
Absolutely. A lot of people hadn't been to church.
Nothing virtual. And I believe we weren't having any events downtown at the time. I think we had something before for Scottlin's birthday. But yeah, that was the first time people could really get together. Now we tried to make sure that we abided by the COVID restrictions, but
So of all the stuff you're trying to highlight and bring to attention, do you see, with inclusion, do you see race or age or culture, ethnicity? Which one's the hardest barrier for you guys to break through? Or are they all kind of equally a challenge?
I would say over all of that is hate, because it's hard to get through to people who just has hate in their heart. It don't matter what color they are. It don't matter how old they are. Like, to get through to people that have that in their heart, we can have all the love that we can give to the community, to everyone around us. But that's the biggest barrier for me. Like, no matter what, like, it's hard to get through to people who simply has hate in their heart.
it's a little bit of it's race and it's age. Some of the older people are a little stubborn, and they don't want to, as Trey said earlier, ruffle feathers. But I think that they see that we're trying to make a real change in this community for the future of Bartow County, because it can't stay the same. It's been the same for a long time, and that, when we talk about the invisible line, that's one of the reasons. Nobody stepped out on faith to say this isn't the way it should be. So yeah, we definitely got some challenges up ahead, but I think we're up for the task.
I think there's many invisible lines. Like, it's not just downtown Cartersville.
Right.
Like we said, churches and different things. Like, people feel comfortable in certain places and stuff like that. So we just all have to be open-minded, welcoming, and, switch some things up, because, we all deserve to feel comfortable no matter where we are.
This invisible line was created because, ignorance is bliss. I've heard so many people from over and over again say that we don't have those race issues in Bartow County. And they have that belief because for so long people have been quiet on the things that they've experienced. The things that we go through, it's like, this is normal, so we accept it. So why speak out on something? It's not going to change. And so we're no longer just being quiet about the things that's been bothering us for so long. We're speaking out. And that's how you become to know that invisible line, because now it's on the forefront. And this is why it's happening, but this is what we can do to make changes. And that's what Black Bartow Events is about. It's about starting those steps to make those changes and erase those lines.
And breaking our own bad habits as a culture also. Because most of us are raised to believe in that invisible line. All right, you don't go here at certain times, or you don't go here at all. So if we really want to say that we're a part of this community and that we love this community, we need to be able to go wherever we need to go. We need to be able to speak to whoever we need to speak to and feel comfortable doing so. So that is for black and white people. It's not just one-sided.
Absolutely, and I feel like, again, that's generational trauma that's been passed down, and it's just up to us to be able to break those generational curses and make sure the generation under us don't have to go through that. But I definitely agree with Todd that we were made to believe certain things, and 2020 was a lot of people's breaking point. I know I started to speak up more to my coworkers, to my friends who may not have understood, but again, it was a breaking point. I think it was a lot for some people to handle, that so many people were speaking up, so they're trying to process it like, well, this is the community that I live in. I don't understand it. I haven't had that experience. But I appreciated the people that said, this is a lot for me to process, but I respect what you're saying. I have compassion for this situation, and I'm going to come march with you. I'm going to support black businesses. I'm going to show up to Black Bartow events and do whatever I can as a community leader.
Bartow County has received us greatly, and everything that we've done so far, I've gotten nothing but positive feedback on what we could do better, how we can include more people, and that's the community I grew up in. And now I know we all have our sour apples, but for the most part, this community has always been one of inclusion. But I think it was just not the culture, but just the way it was. All right, that's just how the older generation thought. So, it has to be this way because that's how it's always been. And now that we're trying to change that, I think we'll see our county get a little bit better. I think we'll see our relationships get a little bit better, and we'll move forward day by day as a better community.
I think conversations like this is great, because it brings about understanding. I think a lot of things are just misunderstanding each other. So it takes, again, uncomfortable conversations to be had. So you can know how I feel, and I can know how you feel, knowing about the invisible line, not knowing about the invisible line. So we'll be able to do our part, to better Bartow.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming by and expressing your desires of getting your message out to the community and to people all over Bartow County. And I think the biggest takeaway from me is the inclusion part, and getting people to be comfortable with interacting where you want to interact, who you want to interact with, and not having a barrier in the back of your mind of wondering, am I supposed to be here or not, or whatever the barrier would be in that. And so, myself and my family and our business, we're all about inclusion. And so to hear that you guys are pushing the envelope and getting the conversation started, creating the events around town to help create these messages and platforms, I think are very important, and I hope that you guys continue to do that. And for me, I hope there's a cook-off. I love food. And I think food is.
We've talked about
yes,
it.
we have.
Food is the best way to break barriers.
Absolutely.
And, I kind of want to see who's got the best, barbecue, or from wherever.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think that would be great.
I'm all for it. Let's make it happen.
But thank you guys, and I appreciate the time. And please talk to Trey, Scottlin, or Todd about anything that may come up questions-wise, or ideas for events for them, or anything like that. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.